10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hi, I'm your host, Rashal Ajuz, and welcome to the Standing Tall Without Heels podcast, named after the Standing Tall Without Heels book. Today, we're going to talk more about the ladies from the Standing Tall Without Heels book, and we'll continue our special edition on the life-changing secrets of coaching and into the behind the scenes of one of the coaches from the book. As usual, I will be co-hosting this with Lina Al-Tamimi, an exceptionally hardworking and talented woman whose story is in the book as well. Lina has progressive experience in family businesses and is now a partnership lead for a startup. Hi, Lina.
Hi, Rasha. It's a pleasure
I
being here again and again.
same here. I feel the same way. So, have you ever asked someone an open-ended question and had them answer the question of how long is a piece of string? Guess what? There's an answer to this question. How long is a piece of string? And that answer is a piece of string is twice as long as it is from one end to the middle. And so it goes with coaching. A tricky thing, right? Coaching is still confusing for a few, and finding the answers might be challenging for some, a blessing for others, and a road towards self exploration for another. But it's life changing, and there's always a secret behind this change. That's what we're going to tap into today. Right, Lina?
Of course.
Perfect. However, before we move on, if you're listening to us on YouTube, make sure to like, share, and subscribe if you haven't. And if you're listening to us on Facebook or Instagram, don't forget to follow, like, and share this podcast. Excellent. All set? Let's start our show now. Over 10 years of experience in retail, fashion, and design. Had her own businesses in Canada, Saudi Arabia, and Pakistan. Worked in Dubai for a while. So she's been living in many different places, doing many things, and now she decided on being a coach. Our guest tonight is a true example of what our book stands for. She had a goal, stood tall, and followed her dreams. She's also one of the book's fans. Let's welcome Coach Adila Haq. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you, Rasha. It's an honor to be here with you and Lina.
So, Adila, what a journey you have here. Moving from one country to another and juggling jobs across continents, and finally landing on coaching. How does this journey feel like now?
It feels like I belong now with being a coach. And looking back, I feel as if I was underground, growing roots, becoming strong and nourishing so I could be this person who I am today, that I'm ready to serve people. I had to be fulfilled before I can give myself fully. And that's where I feel I belong as a coach.
So a sense of belonging. So this journey brought you a sense of belonging.
Yes.
Inspiring. So was it the passion that changed or your goal took a right turn?
Fashion had been a passion when I was younger. It was something that I had developed a lot of interest in. But through this experiences and the series of changes that came along, and I travel around in different places and situations, I was evolving as time went by. And I never really settled with what I was serving at that point. And I was actually looking for how I can serve. And so that's how the passion kind of changed into who I am today, and why coaching seems to be so much more important to me now, because I just felt that I wanted to serve more rather than just in fashion.
Yeah, that does make sense. People can definitely go through such a shift. So why coaching then? What was the inspiration behind this?
Well, I've always been a keen observer of human behavior in different situations, focusing on what's going on, especially when matters go deep within and what really drives them. I learned about coaching through my brother like over a decade ago and was really intrigued about what it was. I came across the emotional intelligence course a few years ago, and that really connected me to coaching and what it's really about. The inspiration really comes from when I think about back in the day, like I used to be the listening ear for a lot of my friends. They would call me and they would talk about their issues and problems and everything. And sometimes all they wanted was for someone to hear them out and not give advices, not really give them any kind of solution, but just for someone to listen. And I think that really kind of changed my perspective, and I became a better listener. And wanting to use that newfound skill, I felt like coaching was something that would definitely work in my favor. And coaching itself, I've come to realize that it's a life-saving and a progression tool. The latter seems evident, but like coaching actually being a lifesaver has had a great impact on me through the sessions that I've taken. It really allows you to think out loud while someone patiently focuses their attention on you. They give you the time, the space to explore and understand while you actually unknot your dilemmas, your issues, your problems. And as a coach, the intention and the attention are in the coachee's best interest, along with powerful questioning that assists in aligning you with who you are, what your values are, and what you want. Coupling that with how to get there and be accountable for your actions, you just become more solution focused. It's phenomenal.
Mm-hmm. So coaching is all about having someone to listen to you. And it's like a life-saving progression tool.
Yeah.
Wow, that sounds amazing. So if we want to dig deeper, so what about self-belief, self-compassion, and curiosity? How do these values relate to coaching and, more importantly, yourself?
It's interesting that you asked that question, because these values, I feel, are at the core of what gives, especially as a coach. To me, these values make up who I am today, evolving through my experiences and knowledge. And as a person, we tend to undermine the realness who we are deep down. And these values actually gave me the confidence and the concept of how important it is to be self-compassionate through life, especially when you're going through phases where you need someone or someone to look out for you, and you sometimes don't have that person, so you need to be compassionate towards yourself. Self-belief is really the essence of who you are first and how you can be fulfilled, and I think that just fills in this huge gap within me that really allows me to be my true self. A curiosity is just learning more, gaining knowledge, and expanding your vision. And I think combining all of these is really the basis of coaching. And as a coach, I believe in the coachee completely, in what they can accomplish. My compassion allows the coachee to share and trust me with their vulnerable side, and being curious lets my mind into the coachee's world.
Interesting. And I love this. Values plus passion with purpose is a recipe for success. So what kind of coach are you, Adila?
I think if you're looking to dive deeper and dig deeper, finding yourself, believing in yourself, being compassionate towards yourself, I think these are some values that I would like to bring on the table by helping the coachee find a path, or achieve their goals, finding themselves in whatever direction they're looking for. I want to be there.
Splendid. And I wish you all the success in the world. You'll definitely be a coach people would turn to. Bravo and good job. And now, let's move on to the next segment, the part we are all waiting for. This is the part where we get a sneak peek of Standing Tall Without Heels stories. For the book lovers out there, this must be a thrilling time for you. Our host for this segment would be Lina Al-Tamimi. Lina, go ahead. The mic is all yours.
Thank you, Rasha. I was very touched by your words, Adila. I wish you all the best in the coaching world. Since we're talking about the book, let me start with Adila. When you first heard about this book, what was your initial thoughts about it?
I think when Russia actually mentioned it, I was just surprised that a book exists that sort of completely personifies a woman, that she absolutely does not need any object to stand tall.
So, what do you think about the title?
I think it's amazing just how it allows a woman to be her own, and she can stand on her own 2 feet and take over the world. I think it's really beautiful. It has such a deep meaning, and yet it's such a simple title.
Indeed. Did you get a chance to go through the books, the different chapters in it?
Yes, I did. I enjoyed it
so-
thoroughly.
What was your favorite chapter?
I think coaching was one of my favorite.
Great. Is there any specific story, any specific inspiring to you?
Yes, especially one from the coaching chapter about Rania Abu Rabia. I really, really enjoyed her story, and the series of events that took place in her life, and the type of person she is now. It's really inspiring.
I agree with you. So let's go through Rania. Rania's story. Let me go through some of her. I'll quote some of the things that she said in the book. I'll start with the very first chapter. She said in her life, she did not only seek to be positive inspiration to individuals, to embrace their potentials and vulnerability, and capitalize on that to achieve positive growth. But she also believed that as an Egyptian, she should leave an impactful legacy and make the world a more human place. So, moving forward to the next chapter of Rania's life, I would say she mentioned that she traveled, and that travel changed her life. I'll quote from the book. Then her life changed in 1999. Her husband decided to move on to Egypt to partner in the project of his dreams. As a loyal wife, she moved with him and faced the toughest challenges in her life. She felt helpless after being that independent and active woman. She had no family, no friends, no kids, and no job. It was challenging to feel like a stranger in her own country. So, what I understood from your talk before with Russia, that you also had to travel a lot. I'd like to imagine here, or take ourselves in different places and ask you, Adila, if you were a coach and Rania came to you asking for your advice in that situation. She has moved to a new country. She's being a supportive wife, but she feels lost. What would you say to her?
I would definitely advise her to take a coaching session. And I think a coaching session would be ideal in a scenario like this, because it would have allowed her to explore her options, where her passion lies, what she wants to do, who she wants to become. And it would have given her a direction in the path that, she wants to work on. Especially now, seeing what her impactful legacy would be, I think it would have worked for her in her favor if she took a coaching session at that point.
Yes, I agree with you. So what happened to Rania next is in 2014, she founded Think. Rania states that the name Think and the slogan Thoughts That Lasts represent a learner's journey. Think provides true, happy, inspiring, and necessary know-how. What do you think of the name Think? What does the word think means to you when you hear it?
I think the word itself really pushes you to think about something. And when it's coupled with the tagline, thoughts that last, I think it really puts together the perspective and it gives it direction. And I think that's just brilliant because you're forced to think about something. I mean, that's the whole point.
Yes, I agree. So, in her impactful incidents, Rania mentioned that another impactful decision in her life was when she chose to quit the corporate world. And I believe this is a challenge that many of us face now with all of this entrepreneurial booming, I'd say. I would say maybe 1 out of 3 people now has this struggle. Do I quit my stable job in corporate life? Do I start my own business? Do I go and be an entrepreneur? So, as a coach, if someone came to you with this question, when shall I move forward and leave the corporate world to my own business? What would you say for him or her?
As a coach, I would leave that decision for them to make because what is best for them is for them to decide. And as a coach, there's no judgment. More importantly, it's really about what the coachee wants in life and what's right for them. And I would support them through the process and the coaching sessions to support their decision because the coachee at the end of the day has the resources and can decide what's best for them.
Yes, exactly. And here where I want to emphasize the role of the coach, because many of people thinks coming to a coach with questions, they will be giving us an answer, which is wrong. And I would like you to tell the people that are listening now about this perception and what you personally think about.
You're right. I think it's important for anyone to know what coaching is really about. And deep within coaching itself, there is no advice giving. It's all about the coachee, what their thought process is. And as I mentioned earlier as well, it's about how you explore while someone actually pays attention to you. And you are given that time and space to go through your thoughts, think about what you want to do, where you want to be, who you are, and all of these will eventually connect through the questions the coach will ask you. And it will lead you to a point where you will know where you're headed. And in all of this, the coach will not be in a position to advise because they're there to help you. They're there to listen to you. And they're there to ask you the right questions that you couldn't have asked yourself.
Indeed, very great. It was a pleasure knowing you, Adila, today and talking to you. And we'll go back to Rasha.
Thank you so much, Lena.
Yeah, thank you, Lena, and thank you, Adila. That was just wonderful. Yeah. So I loved your feedback on the book and the part about the coaching being a self-empowering journey and the reality that the coach is not a person who will give you advice. He's a person to listen to you and ask you empowering questions and get the right answers, your right answers.
Yeah.
So, and I agree that Rania is such an inspiring woman. Many lessons can be learned from such a resilient person. And Rania, if you're listening to us right now, I want to tell you bravo and well done. And now to our grand finale. So good times come to an end, and last words are due now. Adila, what would you say to the women struggling with their children, spouses, or relationships? How can they adopt a coaching mindset and just let go of the toxicity?
I think we as human beings first really need to believe in ourselves. I think to know that we have the power to help one another will really create this shift. I feel a woman goes through many phases in her lives, where she's left with roles that she's serving. And, she really feels insignificant because she's divided into so many things, and she doesn't have the time for herself, and she kind of feels lost, not being able to identify herself as an individual. And I think it's fundamental to her mental well-being that she finds her own identity, which she absolutely has the power to do. She just needs to know that. And I think it starts from us, from me and you, to empower women around us and encourage them so that they can fill in the void that they're carrying. And that will create a shift in their mindset. And I think this will change their approach, and they will let go of the toxicity that exists in the world around us. I think it's really important for us to be there for one another, even if it's something as small as checking up on each other or helping one another with little things that would make them feel that they're more valued than the rules that are tagged to them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can't agree more. No matter what area in your life you want to change, you will find that coaching is one of the most valuable tools to help you in the process. So take the time to invest in yourself, grow, expand, and achieve the amazing life you've always wanted. There's always a path. You just need to find it. Adila, Lena, thank you so much. It was such a pleasure having this conversation with such two magnificent ladies.
Thank you so much, Rasha and Lena.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Adila.
And for those listening, if you couldn't join us from the beginning, make sure to follow our Facebook and Instagram page at Standing Tall Without Heels and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Rasha Lajuz. And remember, wherever you stand tall. You don't need heels, you just need a goal. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I'm your host, Rasha Lajuz, and your co-host was Lina Al-Tamimi, and this is the Standing Tall Without Heels podcast. Till we meet again with another coaching secret, have a joyful night.